Welcome,
Welcome.
Housewives of True Crime.
What's it?
Oh, it's going. Well, personally, I have to say my spring break has looked a little bit different this year than every other year. We're in the thick of it, and we didn't go anywhere. I had lots of
Yeah,
visions.
so I don't think a lot of you're going to get a lot of pity.
No, I know. But I had this like idea, you guys, that my kids were going to stay home. I was going to heat the pool. It was going to be great. We didn't have to go anywhere.
Yeah.
The pool sprung a leak. That didn't happen. And I don't know. Life is crazy and busy. And so,
I know.
but guess what? Today they're going skating. A friend of mine.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm down with
I
that.
I
would have
had
liked to go
weekend plans
skating, though.
last weekend. Oh yeah, skating is awesome.
I know, but I'm here.
I know, but you're here working. I know. I had a weekend like that last weekend where I had plans and then I just stayed home and got stuff done, and actually
Did it feel good?
it felt very adultish.
Mm-hmm. I think that's
I've had quite a morning, Tab. Let me tell you.
Already?
Guess what happened? Oh yeah, big morning already. Yeah. I got fraudulated.
Stop.
Mm-hmm.
With who?
Got fraudulated. Somebody used my American Express card to buy themselves
What?
multiple gift cards to Krispy Kreme through Groupon.
No way.
And also like some amusement park passes to somewhere on the East Coast.
So did they get into your Groupon account?
I think that's how they got in. I think they hacked into my Groupon.
You know, it must be a listener because you just were talking about how you went to the safari park on Groupon.
Mother effers, right? Yeah. Well,
who's listening to Gretchy's Groupon?
Thank God it was my American Express, because American Express is the best one to get fraudulated by. Like, they're real quick. Like, there's no long investigation or anything. You know, they're like on it. Like, okay, we're going to take care of that shit. And then obviously I changed my Groupon password in case everybody else is thinking about fraudulating me.
Oh my gosh.
And, but I thought this person set their home location. Like, I feel like I have their address on my Groupon account when I went on there.
Oh my gosh, you might.
And so
Did you look them up?
Yeah, I did. At the value of their house, $215,000.
Where at?
In Florida. That's a pretty decent house.
Florida?
It's in Florida, yeah.
I'm telling you, these Floridians.
So, I mean, I think they sound like a good time with the donuts and the amusement park, but I'm pretty sure they're going to get busted.
I went to donuts today and got donuts for my kids.
Donuts are so good.
Oh, they're so good. Guess what I went to? Donuts and bagels. I know you're jealous. Those two things are like amazing.
No, so good.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I almost got fraudulated last week. And PSA, guys, I usually catch on to these people, but I got a call and they said, we need we need to speak to Tabitha Kane. I'm like, and I'm always like, who is this? Yeah. This is USAA. There has been a fraud alert on your credit card. Is this Tabitha Kane? And I was like, no, it's not. What credit card are you talking about? and you know, and so they give me a name of a bank that I know that we previously had, but you know, I'm like, I don't think we have that bank anymore, but maybe we do. Maybe we still have a card open, right? So I was like, hold on one second. And then this is where Sean was like, dude, they're never going to give you information unless you say you're the person. And since you said you weren't the person, they should not have given you any information. But they said there was a eBay transaction of $1,500 made 15 minutes ago. And I was like, yeah, that's not me. And then he goes, well, do you have the card of ending in whatever? Well, I'm like, I don't think so. But now again, I'm like, well, maybe back in the day. So anyways, it went on for a minute. And then I was like, hold on one second. I called Sean. He's like, we do not have that. That is not true.
Yeah, Tab, I would never, like, have I taught you nothing? Well, when you get those fraud alerts, listen, they send you fraud alerts via email all the time, and it's not true. Accurate. If you are questioning a fraud alert, you have to log into your account. That is the only way to know whether or not it's happening, because 90% is bullshit.
Okay, so listen to this. So I reverse looked up the phone number that came in, and it was the bank's phone number. So
no, yeah, but they can do that too.
They did. Yeah, it was totally fraud. But they do something where they have the bank's phone number show up on your phone. It's totally bananas. But thankfully I didn't give any information and I hung up the phone before.
Okay, but slow. Seriously
slow. Like dumb.
Okay, you want to hear something else kind of dumb? I mean, maybe it is, maybe it's not. They have this Colonial Day thing at my kid's school.
Mm-hmm.
Thankfully, I have a friend who had an outfit my child could borrow.
Okay.
But don't you think that's like a little whack? So I'm getting her prepared. Yes. She has me put her hair in like, why are we celebrating the colonists?
Yeah.
I don't think they're that cool.
I didn't know we still did that, but okay.
Yeah, we do, apparently. And so she has me do her hair in a French braid. And I'm like, oh my God, can we not just call it Sister Wives Day? Because now she's got on like the prairie dress and the apron. 100%. Because that is something I could get behind at school.
Oh my gosh.
I'm so over this shit. Yeah.
Dress up day? You mean you're over dress up day?
No, just the celebrating the colonists. My son is in a lower grade and he has to do this whole thing about Juan Cabrillo right now. And so he has to write 5 facts. And so every night we're researching and I'm like, I'm just the teacher's worst nightmare because I'm like, okay, you write down fact 1. He made women slaves. Fact 2, he made children slaves. Fact 3, like what else do we need to know?
What else do we need to know? Hey, so is it because he's in 4th grade and he learned state history, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we learn Texas history here.
So I think you should learn, I'm not against I want them to learn the history. I just want them to learn all of the history.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of it should be about the indigenous people, which they kind of don't start until after.
Listen, we got Juan
Cabrillo came in and gave them the map.
Right. So we got a little kick in the booty this week because the Kickapoo that we talked about last week, it's actually a tribe.
Well, yeah, that's fine. I would make fun of the name if it was a tribe or not. I'm sorry. Okay. That is fucking funny, okay? This is where Tab and I differ. Get a sense of humor or kick rocks.
I agree with
it's
that.
It's a funny name.
Okay.
Okay?
All right. Fine.
Okay. On
that note, let's talk about 5 crimes.
Okay.
That's our, because that is actually what is really important right now in our lives is growing our hair. If you are watching on YouTube, this is what it looks like. This is my favorite product ever. And actually, is it my favorite product?
I don't think
All
so.
5 of them are my favorite products. This is probably my number 1.2.
Okay.
I use it every day. My hair has gotten so freaking long and it's all mine. And so I hope you guys try it because it's
called Scandalous Scalp.
It's called Scandalous Scalp.
A little bit goes a long way.
A little bit goes a long way. Go to 5 crimes, FIBECRIMES.com and find it there. Okay, I have a story for you today.
Great.
Let's get to it. Since you were talking about Florida just a hot minute ago, that is where I'm going to take you to the Sunshine State, not the Golden State. Remember, I messed that one up on Thursday
I know. Did you get shit about that too? Am I not the only one that is you cannot call both states the Golden State?
No, I think you can call both states the Sunshine State, though.
Okay.
But yes, I don't think you can call
you can call
Florida
them both the Sunshine State. Yeah.
Sure. But anyways, that's where we're going this week. And the weather there is sunny. There are beaches. The water is blue. And the people are crazy.
They are.
Like those fraudulators.
We've got a couple friends. Yeah.
Okay.
There's a
I'm totally joking.
Couple good ones.
Okay, yes. Listen, I'm totally joking.
But they are, Florida Indians are not known for their sanity. That's true. Right?
Yeah. No, they're not. We have a lot of friends and we have a lot of listeners out of Florida, and we have a lot of listeners that have become friends out of Florida. And actually, Florida has become one of my favorite states to visit since moving to Texas, because now I'm so close to it.
100%. And you know what is awesome about Florida is that freedom of information law that they have. Whenever we have a case from Florida, we can get all of the reports, dirt, anything, like real easy.
Okay, so I think that's part of the reason we think Florida is so crazy is because...
Yeah, because they just let it out of the bag. They probably are just... We're probably all crazy. Floridians are just like more open about it.
Yes, 100% is reason.
Yeah.
It's like trying to get anything from California. You're like, it's not happening. And there's some other states... Although this case was a little bit challenging for me to get some information out of, but we'll talk about it in a minute. I'm talking about Shanti Cooper. She was a divorcee, 30-something-year-old disco biscuit with one young son. She was living in Florida, running a very successful business when she met David Tronnes. The two met where every 30-something-year-old divorcee in 2015 went to meet a lady friend or man friend. Can you guess?
A bar.
No, that's where we went, Gretchen, at 21.
Oh, online. The online dating, the interweb.
Match.com.
Okay, Match.com.
Match was one of the first. Shanti was looking for successful, handsome man to match her profile. You know, she was, like I said, a disco biscuit and professional, self-made woman. David Tronnes, he fit the bill. David, too, was recently divorced, single, ready to mingle, with no children. Even better for Shanti, no baggage. And when I mean baggage, I don't think kids are baggage, but you know what I mean. If you only deal with one ex, it's way better than dealing with two exes.
Okay, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Having to like swap kids and all that, it's a situation. So only one is great. Dave was living in Minnesota at the time, which was surprising to me that he was looking for somebody in Florida, but I did do a little digging and his mom lived in Florida at the time. So it's possible that David wanted to move out there before even meeting Shanti. But let's be real, Florida does have better weather than Minnesota. So in just...
good real estate. Yeah.
Totally. You know, I was in Minnesota 1 year ago today for Kyla's volleyball tournament. Remember that? It was freaking balls cold. Like negative degree.
About it a lot.
I did bitch about it. If you guys listen, back then, I did bitch about it. And guess where they went this year after we quit?
Where?
Orlando.
Florida?
Yes. The same city that I'm talking about. We might not have quit volleyball had we gone to Orlando last year. Anyways, okay, so David's profile was intriguing. He was handsome. His photos were great. His physique was great. He was an entrepreneur. And by the looks of it, David was rich. Shanti and David clicked right away. They started talking, having this long distance relationship, and it didn't take long for David to hop over to live in Florida. After just a few months, he bought a home for him, Shanti, and Shanti's young son to live in. It was a Victorian house, something I could see you totally falling in love with.
Yeah.
It had like super charm, you know? It was a bit of...
Yeah, I mean, I like the Victorian house in the right, context, but I'm more of a I like the early craftsman style. If we're going in my fantasy old house, I'm going to buy.
Uh-huh.
Never.
Okay, so maybe the Victorian house isn't your style.
I mean, I don't hate it.
You don't hate it, but okay. Well,
I feel like you're kind of designed in a, kind of locks you into a certain thing.
Yeah, it kind of does on the inside too, right? Mm-hmm. You can't have super modern inside with a Victorian outside. Well, this Victorian, it had really great bones, but the house was a bit of a fixer-upper. It was in a super coveted neighborhood, good school district. So, they were like, let's do it. David paid $600,000 cash for the home, which seems like pretty high for something that needs to be redone. And cash, I mean, that
Who's got $600,000 cash? That's bananas.
Dude, just sitting there to like put in a home that you have to like fix up.
Yeah.
I'm thinking he must have seen some vision of that making like double the money or something.
Yeah.
He put the home at the time, you know, him and Shanti were not married. So he put the home in a trust with him and his mother. And that wasn't like a red flag or anything for Shanti. And she was okay. They all moved in. The three of them moved into the home with the pretense that David would fix it up. Like I said, the home had a lot of potential. And David didn't work since moving to Florida. So he had, you know, a full-time job of fixing up the house. Shanti owned her own business.
Shanti, the kid, and him, not him, not Shanti, and his mama.
No, the mom did not live there. She was just on the like deed of the house.
Okay.
Shanti owned her own business, which she ran out of the home. And the two would marry not long after moving in together, and all seemed well on the Eastern Front. Well, that is until Shanti got a little fatigued of being the only one making money in the household, as David would spend his days, and when I say in quotes, working on the house, while Shanti was cooped up in her room working on making money. Shanti's money that she made after they moved in together was all the money that was used to renovate the house. David used his money to buy it. Shanti's money was to renovate it. I mentioned before, you know, that the home was not in Shanti's name, and actually the home never got put in Shanti's name even after the marriage. The two of them had separate bank accounts. I know, girl, like that's a red flag for sure.
Listen,
especially when you're putting money.
I have told you before, yes, you don't have to be on the loan, but you got to be on the deed to the house.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And there was no loan. He paid cash.
Yeah, he pays cash. I know, but most people have a loan.
Yeah, true.
And they don't realize. They just think, oh, well, you know, but
I'm on the loan, but I'm not.
No matter how much money you have, get your name on that house.
I know. Okay, so the two had separate bank accounts, which I'm assuming was because they, you know, were previously married or whatever. And actually, one of his bank accounts still had his ex-wife's name on it, which is like kind of
oh hell no!
I know, it's weird. It's definitely another red flag in my account. But they also had a joint account together. I don't really know like where the money from David came for that joint account, or if that's the money that Shanti put in the account to fix up the house. I'm not really sure. But after a couple years of draining the bank accounts and the house not looking any better, actually the house looked worse for wear. Red flags really started popping up for Shanti. It seemed as if David had no business being in the business of construction. He was so incompetent, Gretchy, that the guy took down supporting walls in the house, not knowing.
Shit balls. That's contracting 101.
Yes. So basically, the house was barely standing up. And super unsafe.
By the way, congrats on going through construction in your marriage, because I think I'm never going to do it again.
I think help it is really hard.
It's really hard.
Yes. And now we're living in the construction, and
that's fun.
Yeah. It's actually not fun at all. People in your business is like a situation.
Not my jam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll be really nice when they're not in our business. Yeah. Okay. So The house was in such disrepair that the whole family was not even living in the house. They were living in an apartment above the garage that basically was like a 1-bedroom suite situation, like a loft, basically above the garage. Shanti and her son were staying in the bedroom area while David would have like some sort of makeshift bed in the garage. And after years, this had to be so frustrating. Shanti was real frustrated with this living situation. She was living and trying to run her business in this very cramped situation while funding this renovation, which she had poured over $300,000 into, and
geez,
nothing was looking different.
Louise.
Yeah.
You could have bought my fraudulator's house cash and had 100,000 left to spare.
I know. In Florida.
In Florida. Yeah, I live in Florida.
It's a dude?
I don't know. I just picture a dude.
Okay. Well, she was at her wit's end, and David knew it. So he reached out to a TV show that only you, I think, probably have watched.
Oh,
since you watch all the reality shows. This one is called Zombie House Flipping.
No,
Did you ever
never watched it.
No.
Mm-mm.
Okay. Well, by the looks of it, their home was perfect for the show. They get the like most worn out, crazy people doing some really makeshift stuff in their houses, and then they flip them. It's pretty amazing. I looked up the show. It started in 2016, and I think mostly was filmed in Florida. And they make these houses look so good. Like, and you would never think, you'd be like, oh my God, never in your wildest dreams, you know? But they do it.
Okay, I appreciate it. I love it.
Yeah. So when producers came to look at their house, they saw, one, how dangerous it was. So they were like, yeah, let's step outside. This house is really in zombie disrepair, but it's perfect for the show. The Tronneses were set to film. However, when they had their final meeting before the show was to like be produced, the producer noticed that Shanti was really not into it. She actually seemed pretty mad about the whole situation. She was set to appear alongside David on the show. So I can imagine it's pretty embarrassing. And she owns her own business. So I can see how that could also be kind of, scary. Do you remember Sean's company was going to be on this show? What was it? Undercover Boss. Remember that?
Oh, yeah, I do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Listen, I can see that point of view, but I just, I really have no shame. So I think I would happily open up my zombie house.
Okay, so
if someone was going to fix something for free.
Yes, especially when you're running out of money and your house is worse than where you started. I think that was David's point. Like, this is the only way to get out of this situation. But I think Shanti did something in the financial business. So then it's like, how did you get your house in this bad of shape? And how are you going to be managing my money? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
I guess.
Not the
but
best
it's like,
look.
Girl, not everybody watches these shows.
Yeah, but people talk, and they're like, oh, did you see?
Then I would just
Shanti?
lie. Just be like, I just did that. That was just for the show.
Yeah, true. But whatever. I mean,
okay, she's feeling some kind of way about it, right?
She was, yeah.
She's a self-respecting individual. I just want to know what that's like.
Yeah, true. Okay. Well, zombie house flipping with the Tronneses never actually saw its debut on TV.
Oh, damn.
Because shortly before filming, David would call 911 to report Shanti dead.
All because she didn't want to go on the damn show?
I'm sorry to laugh because it's not funny. I don't know if it's all because of the fact that she didn't want to go on the show, but I can imagine that is it played a part.
Okay.
Hello? She's not breathing. I'm trying to do CPR. I can't. Okay, listen to me. Can you tell me what your address is? I don't know. 218. 218 East Copeland? Okay. And who is this? Copeland. This is David Tronnes. Your name is Dan? David. Okay, your name is David? Okay, who is it that's not breathing? My wife. I'm Shanti. Your wife is not breathing? Okay. Sir, I need you to take a deep breath. Take a deep breath. Listen to me. I'm going to get the paramedics so we can try and get her some help, okay? Don't hang up.
Well, David claimed to have found his wife dead in the shower. He says that he pulled her out, performed CPR on her, but to no avail. She was not coming back. When police arrived after that really distraught 911 call, they noticed a few things were not lining up. Shanti was damp, but she was not wet, and she was also fully clothed. And rigor mortis had already set in, and her arm was locked like straight above her head, which seems really graphic, but it kind of tells a tale of like timing, right? Like she is stiff as a board. That means it's been hours.
Yeah.
The bathtub was also dry, and there was no water around the area. Her face was bloodied and looked to have some serious blunt force trauma, to which David claimed that she must have fallen and like hit her head on the tub or something. She had one earring in one of her ears and the other earring on her nightstand, and her engagement ring was not on her finger and was nowhere to be found. Her phone was also on the nightstand and had not been moved since the night before, like at, I think, 11 something. There was no text messages. And by the way, this call came in the afternoon of the next day. Okay, so these are some like major red flags in David's theory that she just fell getting into the shower. This quick analysis of the investigators definitely had them questioning, so they wanted to take David down to the station, where they did question him for hours, like through the night hours. He was very forthcoming. He answered all their questions. He even agreed to a polygraph test, which I guess it got so late they couldn't find anybody to administer it, so he never actually did take one. He mentioned that Shanti had been sick for weeks. She had some stomach issues and had her appendix out 8 weeks prior. But although the police were skeptical, they just didn't have anything to arrest him on. Without enough evidence, Shanti's death report stated that she had blunt force trauma to the head and face, along with strangulation.
Ugh.
So it looked like Shanti was definitely murdered. Also, they found when they did a more thorough investigation that it looked like some blood was cleaned up. And David had some answers for kind of like everything. He said that they had sex when she was on her period.
They always say that they had sex. Isn't that like they always try to say we had sex right before?
I know. Well, it actually was funny because Shanti didn't have any male DNA inside of her.
Yeah, of course not. She's not fucking him. There's nothing sexy about that zombie apocalypse house.
I know. It's so true.
Come on.
They also could not find any
Everybody
sheets.
knows. We talk about this. Like, ain't nobody fucking when there's clutter in the house, okay?
Oh, I know. And she was, obviously they're not. Like, there's the kid sleeping in the bed with her and he's downstairs. There was trouble in paradise for sure.
Yeah.
There was blood on the mattress pad where she was laying next to when the police showed up, but there was no sheets. There was blood on the wall and on the floor. So even though he had some sort of like, answers to the questions, it was a clear indication to the investigators that David did not have a true alibi and was most likely the murderer of Shanti. What he said, by the way, was he saw her that morning and then he went to go walk his dog and go to the gym or work out or something. And then when he got back, he saw her in the bathtub.
Such a man. It probably was full of clutter, and he can still go work out. Yeah.
Walk the dogs. I know.
I can't do that when my house is a mess.
Oh, girl.
Can't free myself.
I feel you. Right now, I feel you. I have boxes everywhere. It's making me have anxiety inside my soul. Okay. So anyways, police arrest David Tronnes just a few months after Shanti's death. And at the time of his arrest, he was living with his mother in Orlando. And so police were able to search his mother's home where, cha-ching, they found Shanti's engagement ring in a suitcase.
Oh, shoot.
That was pretty much a nail in the coffin for David, if you will. Also, they found a journal entry from Shanti detailing her frustrations with the renovation and the money, and even questioning if David was a liar, pants on fire, and a fraudulator. Like, did David really have all this money that he said he had? Or did he just convince his mama to buy the house for him because he had some sort of like, idea of flipping it?
Yeah. Rest in peace, girl. Very smart to put it in writing.
Totally. Totally. Well, I can answer that David was a fraudulator. Yes, he was. And unfortunately, in more ways than one. Investigators also found that David was a member of Club Orlando. Club Orlando, if you don't know, is a private men's club. And according to the travel blogs that I have read, it is a gay sauna open 24 hours where guys can go do it all, from working out to going in the spa or the sauna, getting a private room or not a private room, being out in the open, doing whatever you're fancy.
It's all making so much sense.
Is it?
Because he was getting it somewhere, right?
He was getting it somewhere, yes.
Because we know it wasn't happening at that house.
Right. Well, it wasn't. And
isn't it ironic that I congratulated on you on surviving construction in your marriage? The struggle is real.
The struggle
doesn't shake out for everybody.
According to 48 Hours, David frequented the joint and was openly having multiple relations with men. I mean, to the point where guys saw him getting it on out in the open with multiple people. And it's a very open place. So, if you like it, you like it. According to Shanti's friends, however, that this open, because it's questionable, like maybe Shanti's into it, maybe she doesn't care, but according to her friends and family, this open marriage thing would not be her jam at all.
Girl cares about her financial career and going on the zombie fix my damn house, house in repair show. She cares about that too.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So we don't know what exactly triggered Shanti's murder. We can speculate that money was a factor and she wasn't into the zombie house flipping, which was really the only way David saw out of this like botched house renovation, right? And then maybe she found out that he was having these extramarital relations and wanted to end it. But by ending the marriage, he would need to tap into his own savings account, which he did have some. But with Shanti gone, he would get her savings because he was the sole beneficiary of hers. he would get her life insurance policy, and he would still be able to keep the house. So this is the motive that the DA thought was probably it. And I would probably say that's true.
Yeah.
So David's trial was not an open and shut case. There was quite a bit of drama, actually, before he would go to trial. The DA found that David's attorneys had hired a PI who supposedly found more evidence that police had missed and decided to keep it and hide it and not give anybody it, which was sheets to the bed, which they could not find. So that's weird. And they also found a long green cord that was supposedly attached to the bed. And what his attorney said was they decided to take that cord because they were worried David was going to hang himself with it, which doesn't really also make sense because David could have gone found something else. He was free at the time, you know?
Right.
And so I'm thinking it's probably the cord that he used to strangle her. David ended up being attorney-less at one point. And then he also was deemed to be mentally unstable to stand trial, claiming that he was schizophrenic. I was able to listen to a phone conversation between him and his mother in prison. He's real manipulative. He comes across like pretty much as an asshole, even to his mom. Mm-hmm. He treats his mom so poorly, and he's talking crazy. Like either he's talking in code or really just like out of it. He was very concerned about his bills and where things were in the house, which I kind of get because the house is also in his mom's name. It's either code, like he's like telling his mom to go get stuff out of the house that he needs out or that he thinks could like be, you know, evidence, or he's really just all over the place. He's also an only child, so I could see how his mom would have like given him this money, and she was in early stages of Alzheimer's when this all went down. And she actually succumbed to Alzheimer's about 2 years ago. So maybe she was kind of like in the middle of it. I don't know. Also, before David's trial, he got very shaggy and unkept, very different from his Club Orlando days where he was like really fit and buff, clean cut. I mean, I told you he's like a very good looking guy, you know?
I would be looking at him like sideways because he's trying to say he's schizophrenic. He's trying to pull the mentally incompetent, you know, like whatever. So maybe he's just letting himself go on purpose.
I think so. Yeah. David was seen fit to stand trial in October of 2023, where he was found guilty of murder and sent to prison for life. Shanti's son was able to speak at the trial, which I think he was like 8 or 9 when it happened. And now he's like 15 and a really cute kid. I mean, and it spoke very eloquently about his mom and how David, you know, is where he should be. As for Shanti, I did try to find out a lot more about her. Usually I can read obituaries or old Facebooks, but I could not find anything more about her. I tried to even look up, maybe that wasn't like her full name, Shanti, you know, like maybe it was like Chantel or something, but I could not. I had like everything says Shanti Cooper Tronnes, like she hyphenated her name, but I could not find an obituary for her. But you know, may she rest in peace. I mean, she was taken like way too soon and taken away from her only son. And her son Jackson, he's still, you know, I mean, probably a young, what is that, 23. So he's probably like 15, 16 years old right now. So I wish him like a lot of luck and love and success in life. But
yeah, absolutely.
That is the story for the week.
That is the story.
Yeah, sad story.
David's living out the rest of his days.
Incarcerated. And he's not, he is. And he's not looking very good. He's looking He needs a razor.
You know what it kind of brings to mind, because we were talking about dementia and only children, is the whole Wendy Williams thing.
I know.
Oh my gosh. Finally got around to watching it. The new documentary. And it's so sad. But her son, I mean, God bless that kid, little Kevin. He is really keeping it together, and you can just tell he is so genuine and has been put through the ringer because of all this. But yeah, she really has dementia. It's really
it's so sad.
I think it's so impressive that her family like put it out there, because it's such a difficult thing. But
yeah. So unfortunate. All right. Well, if you all want to listen to more of us, Gretchen just did a bonus crime on last Thursday of Selena.
Okay, and it's not what you're probably expecting. It's like, you know, I got into a lot of stuff that like maybe you didn't know about Selena, and so, you know, stuff that I was inspired by the new documentary Selena and Yolanda. I mean, I recommend you watch and listen.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to tell you a lot of stuff that they left out of that documentary.
A lot.
Spoiler, Yolanda, still guilty, dude.
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't be fooled by the documentaries, okay? Gretchen gives you the real stuff. And if you want to hear it, go to our patreon.com/Housewives of True Crime, or you can find it on Apple bonus and on Spotify also. They have our bonus content on there. So it's easy to get and it supports us, and you'll get a bonus crime every single month. And then on Thursdays, we also just tell you about what's going on. We also get a little deeper in kind of our personal lives, answer questions, do kind of some one-offs, interviews, stuff like that. So I think you will enjoy. We have hopefully an interview coming up that I think you guys also will enjoy. We have two, actually. I haven't even told you about one. And we'll get to that. And then check out fivecrimes.com. If you also have not rated or reviewed us, it does help our algorithm on Apple. So we really, truly would love it. Also, you guys, I think Spotify has that now, and I read them every single week. So thank you for all who has been posting there. And I think that's all for today, Gretchy Poo.
Okay, Clink Clink.
Have yourselves a real great week. Kick a poo. Clink Clink.
Clink Clink.